Hi guys, welcome back to 10-Minute Maths. Right, over the next few sessions we're going to be thinking about measure, but today we're going to focus on length, height and distance. And this is really important because it supports the early learning goal where we're using everyday language to talk about size to compare quantities and objects to solve problems. Right, so here's a few words that we're going to be using in today's session. We're going to use the words short, shorter and shortest. We're also going to use long, longer and longest, and tall, taller and tallest. Right, so to join in today, you don't need lots of counters and number cards and all things like that. Today you just need lots and lots of things from around the home, and you can choose these when you've seen what our challenge is at the end. Right, so I've got 2 chocolate bars, but I want to know which one's got more, number 1 or number 2. Okay, and how do you know that? Okay, yeah, so we can count. So let's do number 1 first. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of chocolate. And number 2 has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of chocolate. Excellent. So number 2 has got more. Well done. Right, which one is the longest? Is it number 1 or number 2? Yeah, excellent. And how do you know that number 2 is the longest? Well done, because it's got more, hasn't it? And it is bigger. We could say the word's bigger. So number 2 is the longest. What does that make number 1? Okay, right, I'm going to say that it's the shortest. And we could say smaller, but we say it's the shortest because it's got less. Well done. Right, so today we're going to be comparing the size of objects. And one way to measure something is by its length. And when we measure the length, we're measuring the distance of something so that when we look at it, it's from side to side. And sometimes we might use the words smaller when we're measuring something. But instead of saying smaller, let's try and use the words short, shorter or shortest. But also we might say that it's bigger or the biggest. So instead of saying those words, let's use the words long, longer and longest. So they're the special words that we need to use when we measure length. We're also going to be measuring the height of something. And when we measure the height, it's from the floor to the sky. And again, instead of saying the words smaller, we could use the words short, shorter and shortest. And instead of saying bigger, we could say the words tall, taller or tallest. So they're the special words that we use when we're measuring the height of something. Right, so here's a picture of my living room, and I've got 2 dogs who have left their 3 bones on the floor. I've got a shark picture, because I like sharks, and also I've got 3 vases with flowers in on my table. So what I want you to do now, I want you to look at all of the different objects and you're going to compare the size of them. So you're going to compare the length and also you're going to compare the height of something. Alright, so when I say go, I want you to pause the screen and you can spend as long as you want just to compare those objects. Are you ready? Go. So you ready? Okay, let's go. Right, so let's think about the dogs first. What can you tell me about the dogs? Excellent. So we know that the dog with the pink collar is the tallest, which means the dog with the blue collar is the shortest. Well done. Right, let's move on to our sharks. What can you tell me about the sharks? Right, so the blue shark is the longest and the grey shark is the shortest. Excellent, well done. Right, let's have a look at the bones on the floor. What can you tell me about the bones? Excellent. So the blue bone is the shortest. So which one is the longest? Yep, the green bone. So what we could say about the red bone is that it's longer than the blue bone, but it's also shorter than the green bone. Excellent. Right, let's move on to our flowers. What can you tell me about the flowers? Excellent. So the orange flower is the shortest and the red flower is the tallest. Excellent, because we're measuring the height, so it's the tallest. So then we could also say that the pink flower, which one is it taller than? Yeah, it's taller than the orange. Which one is it shorter than? Yeah, it's shorter than the red. Excellent, well done. That was really, really good. Right, I've got 2 pieces of string now, and I want to know which one is the longest. Is it the blue or is it the red? Yeah, do you know, this one's a little bit tricky because I think it's the blue one at the minute, but the red one is all curled up, so I'm not quite sure. So what we need to do, we need to firstly start them both off at a starting point, which is going to be a line. And I'm going to put the blue one on that one, and I'm going to put the red one on that one. So now we both know they're starting from the same position. But also, I need to make sure that that red piece of string is nice and straight. Because at the minute, I still think that the blue is the longest. So let's make it nice and straight. Oh wow. Right, so which one is the longest now? Yeah, it's the red, isn't it? So we now know that the blue is the shortest and the red is the longest. Excellent, well done. Right, here's your challenge for this week. So, you ready? What I'd like to do is line up 2 items from your house and then see which one is the shortest and which one is the longest. And then keep doing this with lots and lots of different things, and then I want you to compare and order 3 objects. So you can do it from shortest to longest. Then 4 objects, then 5, all the way up to 10 objects. And then keep doing that, and then once you've done the length, I want you to measure the height of something, and then you need to compare and order which is the shortest and the tallest. Alright, have a good go at that one. And then once you've done that one, here's your greater depth challenge. So you ready? You need to measure things from around your home using non-standard units to see how long or how high something is. And when I say non-standard units, that just means instead of using a ruler, you can use your shoes, pencils, spoons, you can use absolutely anything to measure. So I'm going to give you a little example now. So I've got my sofa, and I'm going to measure the length of it using pencils. So I'm going to line them up across the floor. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pencils. So I know that my sofa is 5 pencils long. Now I'm going to measure the height, and I'm going to use my blocks for this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know my sofa is 8 blocks high. Alright, have a go at that, and you can measure anything using absolutely anything. Right, so well done again this week, guys. Really, really pleased with how you're getting on. Make sure you keep sending me all those different pictures of all the activities that you've been doing. They are amazing. Alright, so make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next week, guys. Bye bye.